Traffic landing runway 33, wind northwest 15. Change to 119.1. Contact tower 5 miles east of airport for landing clearance. Over.
Tower, this is Delta Flight 702, 5 miles east.
Delta 702, make right turn in, number 3 to land.
Following a Delta DC-6, now turning right base leg.
Delta 702.
Flight 702 in range.
Port position 4, inside.
Flaps 20 degrees.
Flaps 20.
Gear down.
Gear down.
Full flaps.
Flight 702 on the ground.
This is Delta, one of America's pioneer scheduled airlines, flying 13,000 horsepower DC-7s with a crew of 5 and 69 passengers. This is Delta today. This is Delta in 1925. A 200 horsepower plane, 1 pilot, and 800 pounds of arsenic dust aboard to fight the boll weevil in the Mississippi Delta country. In flights measured by the length of a furrow, Delta was the first company in the world to use airplanes for crop dusting. And as aviation grew, Delta grew. Since 1925, a great airline has grown out of that pioneer crop dusting service. In 1929, Delta carried its first passengers between Dallas and Atlanta. In 1934, the award of an airmail contract extended the route to Fort Worth and Charleston, and the next year, overnight service began. 1941, the first northward expansion included Knoxville and Cincinnati. Southward, the route stretched to Savannah, and then to New Orleans from Fort Worth, Dallas, and Shreveport. Chicago, Jacksonville, Miami were added, and Delta introduced the first non-stop service between Chicago and Miami. In 1953, 22 cities in the United States and 6 Caribbean countries joined the system as Chicago and Southern Airlines merged with Delta. The award of over 1,000 miles of new routes enabled Delta for the first time to link the principal cities of the South with New York and Washington. And the 1958 schedule showed new routes and flights, enabling Delta for the first time to provide direct service to and from Columbus, Dayton, and Louisville in the north, and in the south, Tampa, St. Petersburg, Clearwater, Orlando, and West Palm Beach. But from the time of the pioneer Huff Dalen Duster up to the modern DC-7 transports, one man, Delta's president C.E. Woolman, has guided the progress of the airline.
Back in 1929, one of our posters proclaimed, "Now you can fly between Dallas and Birmingham. Daily service, deluxe cabin planes, swift and comfortable." We thought those early 6-place travel airs carried our passengers swiftly when they flew 90 miles an hour. Today, one of our DC-7s could fly the whole original route in less than 2 hours and carry more than 10 times as many passengers. The speed, safety, and comfort of air travel have greatly improved over the years. We've seen the world shrink under the impact of the airplane's ever-increasing speed and range. Delta has enjoyed a steady growth through the years, but one thing is unchanged: the concept of customer service expressed in our slogan, "Service and Hospitality from the Heart." We've always tried to put ourselves on the other side of the counter and treat our passengers as we would like to be treated. We believe that an airline has a responsibility to the public over and above the price of a ticket. We try to live up to that responsibility. The airline industry is keenly competitive. All of us have good planes. The only way in which we can excel is in the quality of our service. And this is where the human factor enters. No one individual can create an airline. An airline is a team. Members of the Delta team have put the meaning into our slogan of service and hospitality from the heart through teamwork.
Some of that teamwork can be seen every time a plane arrives and departs a major terminal. Flight 702 is an example. While the DC-7 is guided to its parking spot, the crews who were previously alerted by radio prepare to service the flight. The engines are hardly stopped before power is hooked up for the ground air conditioning. The stairs go to the door, freight holds are opened, baggage trains come up, and a gas truck pulls under the wing, all before the passengers have left the plane. A ramp agent quarterbacks the complex operation. Soon, the last baggage train pulls away and the flight is called for departure.
Delta Airlines Flight 702, now ready for departure.
A super Convair brings in another job for the busy ramp agent. A worried passenger has a tight connection between planes and a terribly important bag is checked aboard the super Convair. Couldn't get along without that bag. Very urgent. Could he make sure it gets aboard the DC-7? The ramp agent personally transfers that essential luggage. It's these unexpected services that keep the flight line men hopping. Another party is off on a vacation, but they almost left a vital piece of baggage at the ticket counter. That saved Mama from leaving without her best hat, and Dad from having to buy her a new one. Such service makes an airline's reputation. Behind each ticket lies the teamwork that makes an airline run smoothly. A tightly knit reservation system keeps close track of every seat on every flight. Minute by minute, reservation clerks check the number of seats sold, the number available in every city the airline serves. They can arrange for a rental car to meet the passenger at his destination, or reserve a hotel room as part of the millionaire dream vacations which Delta originated in 1947. For the convenience of passengers traveling beyond its routes, Delta makes reservations on connecting airlines, too. Teletype messages between Delta's far-flung reservations offices come through the switching center that connects the whole complex communications system. Banks of automatic teletypewriters peck out their hieroglyphics. 2 seats on Flight 726, Houston to New York on the 12th. Millionaire dream vacation for 2 in Jamaica. Change 3 Chicago to Miami reservations from Flight 749 to Flight 111. Using DC-7 equipment will operate extra section night coach non-stop to Atlanta on the 8th. These cryptic behind-the-scenes messages can be translated into plain English, meaning that somewhere along the thousands of miles of air routes, someone is off on a flying vacation trip. The signal for the start of their flight is the roar of the great engines as they burst into life. Starting over 3,000 horsepower into action looks deceptively easy because the precision maintenance and skills that keep those engines operating perfectly are again behind the scenes. At regular intervals, every engine is completely disassembled down to the last stack, cylinder, crankshaft, and bolt. The massive engines soon are reduced to trays and bins full of parts. They then are minutely inspected, these thousands of pieces. Big or small, they get a microscopic going over to eliminate any weakness long before it has a chance to stop an engine in flight. Then skilled hands put the giant puzzle back together and the engine becomes brand new again. The radios used for communications and navigation are tuned and checked continuously. Propellers are completely rebuilt to keep their blades securely in place against the 75-ton pull of their spinning. By the time a plane has flown 12,000 hours, every part has been completely overhauled or rebuilt. Delta's mechanics know how to keep the entire air fleet in first-class condition, whether the job is running up the engines of the Flying Scot DC-6 coaches or checking the high-speed Super Convairs for top performance. Every part is checked. Nothing is overlooked in this continuous maintenance program, from the radar in the nose to the light on the tail. From giant landing gear castings to delicate jeweled instruments, some that literally weigh air, others that count each turn of the engines. When they are in service, every instrument must work perfectly when the pilot's hands call on them to send the airliner aloft. Once the plane is aloft, sent there by many skilled men working on the ground, the stewardesses take over the comfort of the passengers. They appreciate service with a smile like that, whether they are from Madison Avenue, New York, or Caracas, Venezuela. Delta's hospitality comes from the heart. Of course, air-age babies can travel hundreds of miles between bottles. But if a young miss wants an early snack, she gets it with real Golden Crown service. The galley promptly warms up a bottle for Her Majesty's lunch. Teenage recruits on their way to basic training are familiar figures on the airlines. Stewardesses know the remedy for that about-to-be lonesome feeling, and it, too, comes from the galley. The steaks on this flight are cooked to order, rare, medium, or well done. The armed services find air travel economical and time-saving, and the recruits especially like it. Vacationers find their holidays starting in style with reclining seats, soft pillows, individual ventilation, everything designed for comfort. But it's the service which makes your flight on Delta so different. It's worth writing home about. Such attention and service may not be available at home. That's part of flying's attraction.
This is your flight captain speaking. We are cruising at 23,000 feet, making good a ground speed of 387 miles per hour.
At our destination, the weather will be clear and cool. We have been using our weather radar to avoid turbulent areas to make your flight more comfortable.
Radar eyes guide the DC-7 around turbulent areas, while skilled hands fly the plane at 6 miles a minute. The captains, the first officers, the second officers. You're in good hands when you fly Delta. Many others work to send this flight aloft, but it is the captain who is ultimately responsible for its safety. You are in good hands when you fly Delta. Delta's service is not confined to passengers only, but includes an all-cargo fleet. Now cargoes travel with the same speed and safety as do people. Delta helps business to meet and beat the competition in its markets with large air freight capacities and fast, frequent service. But flying is, after all, just a way to get places, fast, fresh, and relaxed. Places like Chicago, or Miami Beach, where Delta pioneered the package vacation plan. New York, for the United Nations, the bright lights, and the theater. Havana, with its ancient history and brand new skylines. When you walk the Prado's mosaics on a millionaire dream vacation, every hour saved on the way means more time for the sights. The old Spanish Cathedral of Columbus, or the city's ultra-modern apartment buildings. Just an hour or so farther by air into the Caribbean are the lush tropical vacation islands. The swimming and the beaches of Puerto Rico are incomparable with the crystal water bordered by bright tropical plants. On Jamaica, the blossoms are no more colorful than the native constables in their fancy uniforms. Everybody there speaks English with an Oxford accent, even the banana vendors. These green tropic islands offer scenery that is unbelievable, while straw markets like those of the Dominican Republic offer souvenirs to prove you did see it. Haiti is one of the most popular Caribbean resorts, combining old world traditions with new world convenience. From Caracas north into the warm Caribbean Sea, there's more time for a long tropical vacation when you go by air. But even on a short trip back home to see the family, every hour saved on the way means more time to visit. Delta began its life early in the air age, demonstrating the usefulness of the airplane, first in agriculture and then in passenger transport. At one time, Delta's 18 duster planes constituted the largest privately owned air fleet in the world. Skilled hands have carried Delta a long way since the Huff-Dale and crop duster planes. The DC-7Bs of today show the vast steps the airline has taken since its birth. But the jet age is here, and Delta has ordered Convair 880s and Douglas DC-8 jetliners to carry its future passengers at 600 miles an hour. Delta's dedication to teamwork and service helped to open up the roads of the sky, and in the future it will become a super highway open to everyone. This is Delta.